Oh my goodness, Peter, you haven't done one of these in so long. Yeah, I've been working. I did 4 24-hour shifts this past week, and I'm a little delulu. And the best thing to do when you're delulu is not just to have a cup of zero water, but also to watch other people do the job that you do 24/7, but in comedy format. So today we're gonna watch St. Denis Medical. I love medical shows because we get to talk about the acting side as well as the medical side because I'm a doctor and an actor. Fun, fun, fun. This has also showed up on my TikTok so much, and I commented one time, I was like, y'all, this is so funny. And then actually, NBC followed me on TikTok. Then they were like, hey, we want to invite you to the LA premiere. So I actually got to go to the LA premiere of St. Denis Medical. You didn't see me? I'll put the pictures up here. There I am. You have to squint really hard. Yeah, I was all the way in the back. It was so far back that I was in New York.
Got your packed lunch.
Oh, thank you,
some
ma'am.
treats from the vending machine on me.
Yeah.
And this is the number for that drug treatment center.
Oh, I know this scene.
As a nurse, I have access to some really good stuff, and I will hook you up, okay?
Yeah, let's do that.
No, man. That was a test.
She's such a good actress! This went viral on TikTok, and I made my own version of it. It's so well done and such an incredible start to the whole show. The heart, the comedy, the accuracy. She's trying to do her best to counsel, but also be real. It sounds like this is the emergency department, and if she's an ER nurse, they're the toughest of the toughest.
When I was in college, my nan got sick, and that's when I realized that the nurses really provide the care part of healthcare.
Fighting words, but a lot of people agree, which is unfortunate.
And the pay's not great. I mean, considering the amount of work and the risks that we take. But every now and then a moment comes along where you truly change someone's life. And that's beautiful.
Oh, St. Denis Medical. It is so well done and so well acted. Also, I can't wait for this nurse administrator, or not the nurse administrator, the hospital administrator character. That woman, the woman here who's going to play the administrator, the clips of her online are absolutely hilarious.
What is it that I always say? What's the most infectious thing in a hospital?
Tuberculosis.
No. The most infectious thing in a hospital is a smile.
Burgerville milkshakes tonight on me.
Can I get mine with oat milk?
Probably not. You?
Oh, no, I'm good. My shift's done at 4.
It's also really wonderful when you have someone on the team who likes to treat everyone to treats. There are a lot of bakers in healthcare. I think a lot of people had multiple passions when they entered healthcare, and then they entered healthcare and it sucked it all away from them. And so they barely have enough energy to sleep. And so we kind of commiserate over shared meals, but also baking, bubble tea, snacks. A lot of people like to come, like just yesterday was the Super Bowl and some nurse comes in for her shift carrying 2 big bags. She's like, we're gonna have an awful time, but I brought chips for the Super Bowl. And she just has Tostitos with her. And we're like, love you, Sandra.
A couple weeks ago, I got a promotion, and so I am officially a supervising nurse. Came with a small pay bump and a large responsibility bump. So
every single shift is a different nurse who is the nurse manager, or the charge nurse is what we call them. And so you kind of walk around like, who's charge? And they point you. And one time the nurses were sharing with me that whoever's charge nurse gets an extra, drum roll please, they get an extra $30 to be the charge nurse. Charge nurse is one of the most wildest responsibilities. You are not only carrying your entire nurse load, but you also are responsible for anything that breaks down, any patients trying to run away, anyone who has questions about how to do their job, and they get $30 extra for the whole 12-hour shift.
Do I like being a doctor? I used to. Till I figured out patients are just like beat up old cars. You fix them up, you get them running, then another part conks out. I'm just a glorified mechanic.
There are some people who very much flaunt themselves in the hospital, and you're like, can we just do the job that we're all paid to do? One time, I was taking care of this patient, and I had the interpreter on, and another person just barraged, that's the word. I'm working after 24-hour shifts. You gotta cut me some slack. Barged through the door with an AirPod in, a Mountain Dew in hand, and then he just started taking over the patient interaction, and I was like, I'm not even gonna say anything because this is a good story. He just didn't even care that I was in the room and just did whatever he needed to do and took 45 minutes with the patient. I just kept standing there with the baby like, wow, some people just don't care about others. But I had the baby in my hand. I was like, you know what? It's a nice story. You're cute. Oh, you pooped? Hey, Dad.
this is not the type of job, where if you mess up, it's like, oh gosh, we lost a big account. This is like, if you mess up, it's we took out the wrong organ, you know? So
You don't have to do things.
It's so unhinged because they're filming, it feels like a commercial for the hospital in front of the patients, and it's very uncomfortable for them, but no one, they're all self-aware that they're filming it, and they're all self-aware that they're making a show, but they're not self-aware about how it's impacting the patients, which I guess is kind of like healthcare in a nutshell.
St. Denis, the best breast test in the West.
Oh, it's so cringy.
Yes. I handle most of our PR.
Party sucks and we all hate it.
oh no.
I think the whole system just went down.
Big
Seriously,
problem,
go
big problem. We thrive in these moments.
Oh my gosh. She won't let anything stop her mission. I love her. The nurse manager is all about the patients, which is wonderful, but to a fault. And she's all about the promo to a fault. And they just are such incredible leading women. Their goals contradict each other, and it's such a beautiful setup. All right, lost system access. Everything's gonna be by paper charts, and all these new nurses are not gonna know how, so she's not gonna go to Mamma Mia tonight. More like, this is Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia!
What are the nurses supposed to do in the meantime? All the patient information's on the computers.
You're gonna have to practice medicine the way they did before computers were invented.
Don't have
Ron, St. Denis Regional Medical. St. Denis Regional Medical.
Mr. Lasky wants morphine, oxy, and Vicodin. He asked if we had a menu, and I said I didn't think so.
Oh my gosh, they went there. Should I let the episode play out, or should I explain what they just talked about? I think what they're going for is a patient who might be exhibiting some substance dependence and some substance seeking behavior, and it's common in the ER for patients who come in and they have a request sheet of like, I want these things, and these things can be contributing to the opioid epidemic that we're having, which is actually horrifying because I just saw a statistic that for the first time in decades, we had an increase in infant death in this country, despite having all the safe practice and safe sleep stuff that we've talked about. And people are thinking it's because we've had an increase in opioid use.
Wow. He dumb.
Sorry, just adjusting this correct height.
I love that he's a new nurse and not a new doctor.
Next.
She's a famous act. I just spat everywhere. She's a famous actress. I was a little excited.
Surgeons, I mean the good ones, at least. We're not just doctors.
The guitar!
Lord, no, we're detectives. We're Sherlock Holmes. Just.
To be fair though, trauma surgeons are some of the smartest people I've ever worked with. They have to know everything that could kill you and how to stop it. And then when it comes to like, well, also I had some difficulties in school, they're like, shut your dirty mouth, move on to the next person. Not all of them, but just like they are very smart and they can stabilize. And we actually were running a simulation one time of a mass casualty event, which is like, God forbid there was a huge explosion or something. I think we were doing like a school bus crashed, and then we had to activate the whole hospital's resources to see like we could handle. And the trauma surgeons were the ones who were in the ER with us, helping us triage, and the way that they think is very admirable, and I respect them a lot.
Okay, I've done a lot of these before, usually with someone supervising, but that's fine. It's just a quick stab. Oh, sorry.
No.
2, 1, stick. Okay, wrong side. Got myself. That's intense, huh?
Thumb is never on the trigger, y'all. Pop. Wait 5 seconds. You ever mean the full 5? Pop out. That's how you do it.
I just don't want her to be one of those people that works so hard she winds up divorced, alone, living in a condo in the middle of Oregon.
That touches me a lot because burnout is so high in healthcare. Like people, all my colleagues have something called an exit plan. Within 5 to 10 years, they plan to be out of medicine. They're like, this isn't sustainable. There's no work-life balance. I had to create a work-life boundary so that they don't encroach, or healthcare doesn't encroach on my life. You get vilified for doing that, and so everyone's just like, this isn't sustainable, I'm leaving. And I actually had an attending who kind of looked like exactly like this actor who's the physician here, and I was just walking the hospital one day as a student, and I saw him. I was like, oh, hey, doc, how are you doing? He's like, not too well, Peter. And usually when you say that, you just expect that, oh, I'm good, and you move on, but he felt the need to share, and I said, oh, what's going on? He said, do you mind if you have somewhere to be? Can we walk together for a bit? I said, sure. And he shared with me, he said, you know, Peter, I'm not feeling too well because I woke up this morning thinking, wow, I'm 65 years old and I've given 40 years of my life to medicine. And for what? I'm a surgeon and I've been doing surgeries, and yes, you help people's lives, but all I ever wanted to do in my life was to read play a part on Broadway. And I want to do it just once in my life. And I don't think I'm going to have the opportunity to do that because medicine took my life away from me.
Ma'am, are you okay? Oh, God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my God. I'm coming.
Oh, she's such a good soul.
Code blue, I repeat, code blue, report to the trauma room.
I have so many ideas and so many thoughts to say, but
I need a doctor urgently. She fell and
What's
is
happening?
old.
Last in the parking lot, shallow breathing, hypoxic, 83%. We lost her pulse.
She was in the waiting room.
if we strip away all the other nonsense in healthcare, these moments where the whole team comes together to save a life, I mean, we don't know what the outcome is going to be, but the attempt to save a life is so protocolized and structured that it creates this incredible environment of efficiency, and everyone is truly doing their best to save a patient. That nurse, Anne, is really touching my heart because I think she's the ideal of what healthcare needs to be and what we all have at our core, but what we all are forced to forget from the brainwashing of healthcare administration and healthcare education.
Let's get her stabilized. We'll do a CT scan.
Prep a tube. Give me M&A's too.
Calling for M&A.
I'll get the back.
Put in a needle
1 milligram.
aspiration.
Where's that?
A pulmonary embolism is when you have some clot that makes its way into the heart. Now, usually it's a vein, so you have some big veins in your legs and your whole body's pumping blood the whole time. But when you have older vessels, but also you're inactive, the veins inside the leg can pull blood down because it's gravity dependent. And by walking, that's the way the valves squeeze the blood back into the heart. And if you have stasis of that blood for a while, the blood just doesn't move and then you create a clot. But then if you end up moving or something happens to dislodge that blood clot, it can make its way into the heart, and then the heart can shoot it into the lungs. And if it goes into the lung, it's a clot that's going to block a vessel, and you can't get any more blood to that area. And so that area starts having difficulty breathing and difficulty doing cellular respiration, getting the oxygen from outside, passing it to the blood. Anyway, it makes it harder for the lungs to do their job. Sounds like that's what happened here. But then she also had a pneumothorax, which is where air trapping inside the lung. The lungs don't have air around them, but if you happen to have like a stab wound to the thorax or the chest area, then you have an insertion of air into this area that's supposed to be empty of air, and that air from outside collapses the lung, which can make you unstable very quickly. But they're saying it's both, and I don't know if it actually is both, but we'll see.
We're like the Avengers, you know? Like Bruce is Iron Man, and then there's me, guy who knows how to work a breathing bag, man.
He's definitely getting fired.
It's so bad.
That switch, that code switch.
They told me that you're the one that saved my Lori.
Oh, your wife. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. What was that? 7 seconds on screen and he made us all sob? Wow, he carried that backstory with him. You felt the years of their marriage. That actor had homework. He created a whole world for those 7 seconds and he deserves that. Wow.
What makes a hospital great? Is it the quality of the staff? The number of lives saved?
Do you see this thing on her desk? It's the 3D mammography fund. She wants to start collecting funds in a more appropriate way. But the thing that she's using to collect the money in, that is iconic in a hospital. It is, well, I'm gonna let you guess and then I'll tell you right after me.
Look at her hair.
Ooh, very nice.
But we have needs. Needs that I can't ignore even if... No! Like a vacuum, the needs.
That box is the sharps bin. That's where we... If you have a needle or a scalpel or something that you use, you just toss it in there. You're like, I'm not done. This is done. So no one can grab the garbage bag when they're collecting and injure and poke themselves. So everything goes into a sharps bin.
10% restocking fee for the boob scanner?
What an interesting episode, because even though they're talking about the humanity in healthcare or the lack of humanity in healthcare from the provider perspective, again, what I really like about this is it does feel like it's made for the providers, so thank you all so much. But also the patients get to see an inside scoop of what's going on, which makes it a little different than the other shows we've seen. But the main thing is she didn't get to go to her daughter's show, which is going to create family drama, family trauma, and there is a high divorce rate in healthcare because your job is just not sustainable or compatible with life. life. That's what we always said in residency. Residency is incompatible with life because you're just expected to work up to 80 hours per week, but also whenever you're off, like I had so many times I was off and I'm trying to plan to do something and I got a call from my hospital saying you have to come in and work, and I was like, but I'm off, and they're like, you're never really off, we own you. They would get frustrated that we would say things like, hey, I'm not actually scheduled to work today, and they would vilify you, say it's you're unprofessional because you're not giving every ounce of your and every second of your life to healthcare. I think we should watch episode 2. What do you think? Let me know down below, what was your favorite part of St. Denis Medical? Have you seen the whole season? Are you excited for season 2? What else should we react to? And thanks so much for watching. Send this to a loved one, send it to a friend, share it with your baby, and I'll see you in this other video right here, which I picked for you. You're gonna love this one a lot because I did. That's why I made it for you. Ciao.